A commemorative kit is teaching children about the history of Tulsa's Greenwood District. The Black Wall Street Kit is helping kids all across the country. Joining us now to talk more about this is the creator, Robin Eller. Thank you for joining us from Los Angeles this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know, before we get to the kits, I just want to talk about you first, Robin. A Los Angeles City Commissioner, a Code Breaker of the Year by Google, a top 5 Forbes list, a patent inventor, a patent owner, a creator. How did you get involved with Black Wall Street and learn the story of 1921?
Well, it's an interesting one. I was passing through Tulsa, going through the Tulsa airport while I was visiting my husband's family. And there was an exhibit there as you were passing through the terminal. And I, embarrassingly enough, didn't know about the history of Greenwood Avenue and Black Wall Street. I had time before my flight, went through the entire exhibit. By the time I walked out, I had tears in my eyes, and I spent my entire flight Googling who I could contact to be a part of letting others know about the history of Tulsa and the reconciliation and the Renaissance, and just be a part of it. Ended up reaching out to the Tulsa Race Commission, who was working on the Greenwood exhibit and all other types of different historical activities to commemorate the lives lost, but also the legacies that were lived. And one thing led to another, and I got heavily involved. And it's just been such a blessing and a journey to be a part of Tulsa's history, the more recent history.
Wow, well, what a story. And you know, I want to talk about the kits as well, because maybe other people have seen that inside the airport and other different displays around the country. And we'll get to Russell Westbrook in a moment, because that documentary is a big part of it. But let's talk about these kits. You know, a lot of times, so many times we open up boxes from Amazon or whatever, and it's like, oh, there's not much inside. This is totally different. This is full of very useful things, Robin.
Yeah, you know, we wanted to make sure that we really tipped our hat to those lives and legacies of Tulsa in 1921, and also the entrepreneurship that thrived in Greenwood thereafter. So we wanted to make sure that we had everything covered: the histories, the legacies, the stories, the inspiration, and also kind of what's happening now in Tulsa in order to revive the spirit of entrepreneurship. So we included a tablet. We included an augmented reality project where kids get to reimagine the future of Greenwood through the lens of 360 virtual reality. So we threw in a little bit of the metaverse in there. We have some wonderful books by some fantastic writers that appeal to children to tell them the story specifically in their voice about what happened in Tulsa. And some really fun books on entrepreneurship, how kids can get involved in being their own kind of CEOs at an early age, much like the influencers in 1921.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm looking at this tablet too, which was kind of like one of the biggest pieces of this, a tablet with its own Wi-Fi with a 40-page curriculum. Why was it important to specifically include a tablet with Wi-Fi and just everything's ready to go right now?
Yes, so the kits emerged during the pandemic, right? We're still obviously in it, but it was during the center of the time when children were still at home and struggling with remote learning. And we saw that there was a definite digital divide among families and households who had access to the internet and high-speed computers, and those that did and did not. So we wanted to make sure that we had a tablet in every kit. That way we were solving for the inequities that sometimes appear in communities without having computers, and didn't want there to be any reason for kids not to be able to connect to the 40-page curriculum, which is interactive, has videos and activities and ways to get kids really engaged in history, because we know that learning at home is not easy and not as fun as the classroom. So we made it very lively. And so it's a very much an interactive program. So the tablet was necessary for that. And also tablets need to come with internet. So AT&T, who was our generous sponsor, gave us mobile hotspots for kids to have 5G access in the house to access the curriculum.
And I want to talk about, you know, how to get them in just a minute, but real quick, you know, Russell Westbrook was one of our state's most famous residents for a long time. You collaborated with his foundation, is that right?
Yes, the Why Not Foundation was a sponsor for the Black Wall Street Kits. Due to his generous sponsorship and the History Channel, who produced his documentary, together we were able to distribute the kits throughout Tulsa, through Monroe Demonstration Academy, one of the wonderful middle schools there, as well as Texas and California. And kids actually at Monroe Demonstration Academy wrote letters to be placed in the kits for the children in other states to tell their own experience of living in Tulsa today. So those who lived outside of Tulsa got a very special perspective of kids living in and around Oklahoma. So it really tied it together nicely.
And how do you get one of these today?
Today, well, we're just getting into our summer program. This is typically year-round, but summer is our biggest time of year when a lot of after-school and enrichment programs really like to be able to bring this curriculum into classrooms. So, but anyone can get it at codebreak.us and just look for Black Wall Street Kids in the menu.
Awesome. Codebreak.us and Black Wall Street Kits in the menu. We will also put that up on our website here soon. So Robin Eller, thank you so much for your time and putting together these kits.
Thank you so much again.